welcome everybody to Cosmic Blueprint. I am the co-host with Creative Guy with host tonight, Tony Z, and we have none other than Santa Bonacci and of course the illustrious Jordan Maxwell. How's everybody doing? All your mics are hot.
Hello there. You're breaking up on me a little bit.
Yeah, that's for us.
Hi guys.
Hi,
Hello,
guys.
Jordan. Hello, Tony.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yep, everyone's in the call, so we'll probably take a first or two just to get our timing all set up here. But are you hearing us okay now, Jordan?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, sometimes the net likes to be a little jumpy at the start of the show, but it smooths out nicely. So, and by the way, we don't have breaks during this show. We don't have any paid advertisers or whatever. So if you do feel the need, you have to go potty.
Okay.
Just tell me, I'll throw a song off, and that way take a few minutes, and we're all good. So we're going to have a rock and roll show tonight. I know we are. So I'm looking forward to it. Tony, take the floor, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kate. Brilliant to have you on, Jordan, and of course, as always, Santos. It's just a pleasure for me. I've looked at lots and lots and lots of both of your work. Santos knows this, so there's no point in going into major detail, but I learned from your stuff, Jordan, so it's such a privilege for me to have you with us tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm always happy to be with you, and always a delight to be on with Santos anytime. I hold Santos's work as probably the most important work on the planet today, because as far as I'm concerned, it's the only the way he presents the material and the kind of subjects that he deals with and the way he handles it is superbly done. I think it's an idea whose time has come, and I do believe that there's a spiritual aspect to what he does. I think he's doing this because it's the right time, and someone needs to do it. And so that's why I'm always honored to be on with Santos.
Yeah, it's kind of why we hang out with him. He's a pretty cool musician too, while the iron's hot, might as well strike. Anytime that you and Santo want to do a show, just let me know, and we'll get you platformed on Critical Mass Radio here anytime you want. So the forum is wide open. We keep that wide open all the time for everyone. This is a truth forum, and we're no holds barred, no pulled punches. We don't mess around. We go right to the heart of truth. That's the way we work. So beautiful to have you guys together. This is just going to be an amazing night. So where do you want to start?
Well, I don't. I never know where to start. There's so much to talk about, and so much is now in the face of humanity that we don't have to try and break into any subject. People know the whole world's in trouble, but the only thing is no one knows how it happened. We just know it's there, but nobody knows how it works, where it came from, and why it works the way it does. We just know we've been had. But I look at this whole situation going on the earth today as cosmic. That's why Santos' work is so important, because I see it as cosmic. It's not political. I mean, I see the entire world as in the grip of darkness and evil and corruption. And so I look at it as trying to save the human race. I don't think anybody's going to save America. It's gone. And America was the last chance for freedom, in my opinion, and that's gone. It's over. And so all the other countries are equally as bad. So I don't see any hope on the human level for the human family as a creation, as a living organism on the earth. I don't see any hope for the human race outside of us getting completely out from under this darkness of ignorance and stupidity and religion, and going back to the original and seeing how the world really works and do something about it. So that's why I just keep plugging on. I'm always encouraged to see people talking about the subjects which are important, and so that's where I am. I just feel that what we're doing is we're trying to save the human family. I'm not trying to save America. I'm not trying to save anybody, any country or anybody. I'm just trying to do something to awaken the human race to what has happened to us as a living organism on the earth. We've all been had. Mm-hmm. This thing goes all the way back into thousands of years.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's one of the reasons why many of us have been through thick and thin to maintain even just what we're doing now. But we're unyielding, we're unrelenting, and system is going down. And you're absolutely right. This is a mission on a cosmic level. Because I really, honestly, don't understand how many more wars of death and destruction it's going to take for the human race to kind of figure it out that maybe this isn't such a good path to walk.
Yeah, well, Ludwig von Mises, the European economist, said in one of his books that the people of this world in all ages and in all times in history have always supported a dictator. The people of this world have always, are now, and always will support a dictator. Period. That's a fact. And then they will support a dictator until the support of the dictator becomes more burdensome than his overthrow. So as long as, what he was saying is, as long as the dictator gives them plenty of beer and alcohol and entertainment, and whatever, whatever it happens to be, whatever age, fun and games or television and whatever it is, as long as you keep the people occupied playing with a ball and drinking and alcohol and entertainment, then the dictator can rape and destroy and plunder the earth. And people will love him and crawl on their knees and kiss the ring of the emperor and kiss the ring of the pope and everything will be fine. The rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, and the entire human creation, God's creation of the human race, will be raped and plundered and destroyed by the dark side. Because it seems to be in our DNA that we are destined to crawl on our knees in stupidity. And it has to do with peer pressure. People don't like being made fun of. And, as a child in school, no kids want to be laughed at and mocked and laughed at by the class because they didn't know something, and they're in front of the class and they're supposed to know the answer to a question and they don't, and all the kids are laughing at them. So that can hurt very deeply. And so that's why the human race wants to go along with everybody else. We all want to go along to get along, and whatever the group is thinking, that's what we will think, and whatever the group likes, that's what we'll like, so that we can be, we can be loved by those who are our associates. And so that's the way it works. And so if you are the kind of person that wants to do your own thinking, then you're going to be an outsider. You're going to be mocked and laughed at, and if you do know something really important, you will be killed, or you'll go to prison. And so that's the way the masters who have destroyed our earth and raped our civilization, that's what they have done. They have made it so that it's very, very dangerous to speak out truth to power. They made it very dangerous. And America was probably the only hope in the world where people could come to be free and speak and do what they want to do, and that's gone. That's completely over, and I will guarantee you it's over for America. It's finished. So now what we're looking at, as I said, is a cosmic problem. We are in trouble as a human race. And if it wasn't for people like Santos and for brave people like yourselves who are providing an opportunity to at least speak while we can in these last and final days, I just fear for the human family where we're going. I mean, I think in terms of what is the human race going to look like 1,000 years from today? What are we going to be like? Well, I can tell you, from what I've seen already in the past 6,000, and where we are today, it doesn't take an astronaut to figure out where we're going to be 50 years from today. I mean, our civilization in the States, we're so profoundly stupid. They can't. It's amazing trying to deal with people in America. They look at you like you have three heads. If you have cash in your hand and want to buy something, all they know, they've been taught to hold this credit card this way, swipe it there, and hit this button. That's all you need to know. So if you walk into a big department store and you've got a problem, you want to talk with somebody, they just look at you. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know how to do anything. They've never thought about anything. And so that's the way the youth are being treated. That's the way the people have grown up to be, and that's what America is today. An incredible monstrosity of ignorance, stupidity, religion. And then when I look at the Arabic world, look at the Jewish world, look at the Christian world, my God, what a mess these people are in. And so I just do the best I can with what I have to work with.
Absolutely. My cousin Mark, he lives in Hong Kong. Many years ago, during a discussion with him, had made a beautiful, poignant statement with regards to mankind, in that the masses are kept intelligent enough to run the machines, but not intelligent enough to understand that they shouldn't be.
That's right.
You know,
you got that right.
Yeah, and apparently it's pretty cool to be stupid. It's really cool to be ignorant. It's really cool to stand around and cheer on corruption, graft, greed, murder, death, mayhem. So we've just decided that it's not so cool anymore, that it's way neater to go into the abundance mode and show others that we can create. You got to stop buying the line of the dictators. And I mean, we've had so many lessons. I mean, remember the movie The Dictator with Charlie Chaplin? One of the most poignant scenes, about 4 minutes long.
Yeah, I know. I've watched it many times.
You know the scene, you know.
Yeah.
And if everyone actually just listened to that and took what Charlie Chaplin had to say to heart, we'd have a paradigm shift instantaneously, without question.
Yeah, I know. But he was chased out of America too. He was hounded and chased out of the limelight, you know, for doing those kind of things. But I know it's disgusting. So that's why I'm fascinated, I'm really fascinated listening to someone who's really done research and hard research and articulates it so well. Because I've always been fascinated with people who are smart and who have done their homework and who are there to help me to understand. And that's all I've wanted to do, is just give back to society what I've been able to have, because I wanted to know. So I spent all my time in university and libraries and researching and studying because I wanted to know, and then I wanted to be able to tell others what I've learned. And it was great sport. I loved doing it. I lived for that until recently, until the recent history now is very, very dark, and I don't have very much pleasure in life anymore because of how dark and evil everything really is. And now I do what I do, but it's laborious. It's very difficult anymore because I don't have any real joy in living. I don't have any real joy in doing what I do. Now it's real scary. It's very, very frightening because I know how deep this stuff really goes, and I know what these people at the top are really like. And, you know, when you see the Pope riding around his Pope mobile and all the holy saints and all this nonsense, but then when you watch movies like Eyes Wide Shut, that's what the real story is in Rome. That's what the real story is. The pornography, violence, threatening, it's dark, demonic depravity parading around as religion. And so I know that. I understand the connection between government, the mafia, the underworld, the syndicates, and the religions.
And that's why we have you guys on, or like Tonto and you, Jordan, because not only do we bring the truth and the facts of how messed up this place is, we also bring remedy. And the answer lies within all of us. And the listeners that we have, Jordan, we have many tens of thousands, are all on the same page with us. And those numbers have been steadily growing and growing and growing. And based on the information that keeps coming into me and the comments from people, you know, complete strangers one day and family the next, we are in a paradigm shift. We got a brand new group of beautiful people over in Italy. I just met through Santo, and they're wide awake. the light is blinding. The the cornerstones of this dictatorship planet that we've been living in by DNA design is crumbling, and I have beautiful information that comes to me every day. And I got to tell you, and I know I can speak for all of us here. We have our days where it's like, what the hell am I doing this for? And then 5 minutes later, someone comes in and says, yeah, that's
oh my God.
Yeah.
And it all takes off. This is one of the things, Jordan. It's very heavy stuff that we have to deal with, and it takes a lot of accepting to get our heads around the magnitude of the lies. We have. You're absolutely correct when you say that we've been through this mass mind control program, and that's what it is. It's everywhere, in every different area. It's all bread and circuses, like you said. Throw the bread and keep the circuses, keep them occupied so they won't look at what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
But what's actually taking place now, and I swear to God, I can talk for the people that are listening to this show, all of a sudden, there's been a flip. It's like a magnet. If you take two magnets and you put them on the table next to each other, and you get closer and closer and closer with these magnets, north to north or north to south, even better, and you just get to the point where all of a sudden it can be a tenth of a millimeter, and then all of a sudden, bang, the two magnets just flip, and everything just all of a sudden, totally out of the blue, people start getting it all of a sudden. And I feel that's where we're going. This is what people are feeling around us, and we're gravitating the right people to the right places, and they're suddenly going click, and this information's starting to click in. I can't deny what you've just said about the people in Walmart and the 27 stone sort of like family of 14 and the credit cards and all the rest of it. Yes, I know, but that's fluorides, it's vaccines, it's chemtrails, it's medications in the water, it's GMO foods, it's all the crap that these people have been consuming. Not everybody's going to make it, I don't think. And it's those people, unfortunately, that have just gone for that hook, line, and sinker that are going to be the first ones that are going to be in trouble. But the point is, I believe, and I know Kate and Santos are with me on this, that if we can just raise the consciousness of the minority of the people that are using enough brain capacity to be able to figure this stuff out, and then we can explain it to those people like you did to me, and Santos did to me, and Kate did to me, when I was learning, I got this big picture, and it was like, wow, isn't this awesome? But I'm still missing things. I was missing astrotheology, thus religions, and I was missing legals, thus the etymology, thus the construct of law, ecclesiastical law, which Santos gave me, and then obviously, the bar law, the maritime laws, the admiralty, and all these different law forms, all the stuff that Kate and Santos jointly put together. And so, with the information that I learned from these guys, it filled in a lot of the remaining blanks, which gave me a whole enough picture to be able to run with what I've got, confident that I know what's going on to the degree. But now I've got confidence to the point of learning from you and the rest of the guys in this chat tonight. I can now start explaining to other people that aren't so up to speed with the information that I've learned, and that's what I thank everybody here tonight so much. It's incredible. And it's giving that information to other people that I'm looking forward to. But,
Well, symbolically in the Old Testament and the book of Genesis, I know there's a lot of symbolism and numerology, etc., in the New Testament. But I just think it's interesting that in the story of Noah and the ark, there was only 8 people saved. So I don't know what symbolism that gives you, but if the whole world was destroyed and only 8 people were saved, that's a real small selection in relation to the world today. So you got 7 billion people on the earth. How many people are going to be saved intellectually and spiritually by waking up and seeing what's going on? Well, if only 8 people were saved in that world, and as Jesus saying, just as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man, simply saying that the more history changes, the more we stay the same. And this is exactly what's going to happen again. There's only going to be a small, select handful, and I believe that that select handful that are awakening, are not doing so because they are so bright and brilliant. I think that they're being called out. I think the Spirit is calling certain people and not calling the masses. I mean, the Scripture even has Jesus saying that he taught in such a way that the people would not understand purposely, so that they would not get the sense of it and not understand purposely. So I think that there is something to the idea that there is a divine presence in the universe that men have called God, whatever it is, and that it makes the decision as to who is going to hear and grow and who will not, and it's based on your heart and your attitude. So it's almost as if there's some sort of a spiritual overshadowing of the human race that is able to discern your thoughts and your heart and your true wishes. And if you really want to know, then it will, as when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So what it appears is that if you are sincerely wanting to know, and you know there's something wrong, then knock and it will be open, and seek and you will find. Ask and it will be given. And so, but since the world is not asking, they don't want to know, they're not going to know. They're going to suffer just like everybody else has. In all of history, it's always been that way. Just the ones who want to know are going to be given the knowledge that they need. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so for the whole world of mankind, nobody seems to give a damn about a teacher. Nobody cares. As long as the beer's cold and the Dodgers are winning, nobody's interested. But there will come a day soon when they're going to be very interested. But that's always been part of the scenario. When the people finally wake up at the time of the flood, so to speak, symbolically, at the time when the whole mess becomes so heavy and so burdensome that it collapses on itself, like all corrupt empires always have, and this is where we're going now. We're so corrupt, we're collapsing right now all over the world, and now it's nothing but dog eat dog, whose might makes right, vicious, corruption, money, grubbing, and thank God we got the corrupt religions that holds everything together for it. So I think that it's all going to come apart at the seams, slowly but surely. But I want to be there to try and help the human family to figure all this stuff out, because you're not going anywhere in the future if you don't know how the world works. That's why it's, here's the one last thing, because I'm taking too much time. But unless you understand,
no, you're not.
Well, I want to hear from Santos, but the point I want to make is that unless you understand how the world works, unless you have a good understanding of how religion came to be, how governments, what money is, how banking works, how the entire world system operates together from one country to another, unless you understand how all of this works, you can be angry, you can be frustrated, and you can do all kinds of public meetings, but unless you understand how it works, you're not going anywhere. So that's why I think the work of Santos is so important, because he not only deals with astrotheology and religion, excuse me, but also the whole entire spectrum of how this dark world really works. And that's what is really needed. People need to awaken to the idea that the entire world is corrupt. Everything. All of our institutions, it's all there. And therefore it implies that something is going to happen to the human race. Whoever created us, it must be watching. And something's going to happen to us on the earth as a life form on the earth. Something is coming. Because I can't imagine, because I know enough about history, that when nations have become as corrupt as we are now, and the world is as dark and ignorant and violent and stupid as we are now, something very bad is on the horizon for the world. And I always say that and I feel this very strongly, that the remedy is going to be as bad as the disease. Because in order to change this world and get it back on course, it's been on the wrong course for at least 7,000 years I know of. In order to do that, it's going to require chaos, incredible chaos, to disassemble the darkness and the demonic depravity that guides this planet daily, and reestablish the kingdom of God on earth. And so, that's what we're working for. That's what I see as needed. Because if we don't, something's going to happen to the human family. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a deconstruction of what's going on, but I don't see it as dark and totally, dead-ended as that. It's got to come down, so we can take it down a brick at a time, or we can just blow the thing up. The fact of the matter,
one way or the other.
Two ways of doing it. You can do it very carefully, or you can do it, destructively. I prefer it to be done carefully and with wisdom, and that's what we try to do. We're taking the information and taking the pieces, the pieces apart, so people can see how they fit together. And when they can see it, they can understand it. When they can understand it, they can look at fixing it. But you can never fix it if you don't understand what it is.
That's right. There's one point else I'd like to make for Santos, for him, and that is what form of life on the earth is put into something called a kingdom. We know fish are in schools, cattle are in herds, bees are in swarms. So we have terms for particular animal or particular life forms collectively. But what kind of life form on the earth is in a kingdom? If it is in animals, it's referred to as an animal kingdom. And so when Jesus is talking about the prayer that to say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and let your kingdom come. What is a kingdom? Kingdoms are used. The word kingdom is used in relation to animals, like in a zoo. And so that's why we have something called a zodiac, because the zodiac is a kingdom of animals, symbols of animals in the sky. So it makes sense symbolically that when the truth and the light, that's what Jesus called himself, I'm the truth and the light. Well, when the truth and the light says that God's kingdom, you're asking the universe to let God's kingdom come and let God's will be done on the earth as it is in heaven. Obviously, because the 12 signs of the zodiac are the animal kingdom, and it will have its way on the earth, whether you like it or not. The astrological implications of the symbols direct the destiny of the human race. And so, symbolically, Jesus represents the truth and the light, and he's saying, let your kingdom come and your will be done on earth. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. The astrological signs in the heavens, you can't touch. You can't do anything to them. They will guide the destiny of the human race, and that's what the wise men have always known. That's what the church is hiding. So that's why astrotheology is so important to me.
Yeah, one comment before we get Santo letting rip here. There's a concept of looking at, how the Vatican is heavily influenced by Orion, and the Orion Nebula in particular. It's a lot of different layers to this, but the layout that I saw the other day kind of made total sense in that the Orion Nebula, the Anu of that particular nebula, the heart, is the actual mind, and it's laid out just like a human brain, that whole region. And what resonated with me is that here we are on Gaia, Earth, that is the heart, and the true power of the universe lies in the heart. And it would only make sense to me that this corrupt mind, aka Vatican, and their worshipping of this particular phallic nonsense, is doing its utmost to corrupt the heart, us, in order to maintain control, because we all know the heart is 10,000 times more powerful than the mind in its thinking ability and its compassion ability. And that's, for me, the true answer is finding the empathy and compassion within. That's, for me, how I solve things. And it's not always easy, but I always find the way there. And it takes a bit of work on my part. But I just wanted to get your guys' feedback on that. And
well, I've always, it's always been interesting to me that the divine presence in the universe that men have called God, when creating us, put our hearts on the left side. Left in Latin is sinister. And so it seems as though our hearts are always sinister. It's on the left side. And so we got to get right. So, and that's going to take a lot of work, because our hearts have been are locked into a sinister mode because it's on the left side of the body to start with. So I just see it all as very symbolic, and has to do with occult or hidden teachings. That's why metaphysics is so interesting to me. Anyway, just a thought.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Jordan. Wonderful. And your thoughts about the kingdom, we've discovered that they're harvesting our energy through the birth certificates, and we've done all that. So they've been exposed how they do that, but they've got all their tricks. And so they really do see it as a farm, as Bob Dylan's saying, about Maggie's farm. The artists and musicians see it, poets see it, writers can see it. It's your left brain educated types, your academic types that cannot see it. They're right firmly entrenched in government. They believe in it. They'll put their uniforms on, and they will die for those uniforms. Now, there's another trick. Uniforms. You've got the word uni there, and it kind of implies unity, but it's not. It's division. They love divide and conquer. They will never promote unity. Never. That's why they whacked Diana, Princess Diana, because she was starting to promote a real force for unity on this planet with the consciousness that we have. And they whacked her. Got her out of the way. But see, this is what they're doing. It's so subtle. They put little kids, you were talking about children in kindergarten, and how they dumb them down. They give them uniforms there already. And then you've got all your primary school, they're all uniformed, so they're being formed in a unified way. It's not unity, it's not, hey, let's really, truly embrace the oneness of us, of humanity. No, if there's any uniformity that they talk about, it's uniformity that they can manage so they can harvest that uniformity. It's not for our benefit, it's for theirs.
Of course, that's right.
Yeah, it is depraved. It's 100% depraved. And because these ones have gone astray and are serving their sinister nature, absolutely. Another thing about sinister too, Jordan, you'll love this. Are you aware of Bill Donahue's work?
Oh yeah, I've heard of his work. I've come across it, but I don't recall it.
Yeah. Oh, look, if you ever get the time, you've got to see some of his presentations. He's been teaching the best astrotheology you'll ever get in New Jersey for 40 years. And I just...
Well, email me his link, will you?
Yep, no problem. And, well, he's joined us on a website that I have called School of the Holy Science. So Bill is there with us. And... But what I want to say is that he was teaching for decades now. Sinister has to do with the left brain, because in Latin that's what sinister means, left. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And of course, this is the brain that is sequential and linear. It is not simultaneous and non-linear. Mm-hmm. So there's no art in there. It's all information and data. These people... they see the trees, not the forest. So they've got this sequential brain. They follow orders. Rome makes sure that people stay in that left brain, sinister, and that's sin, you see. And so these people are sequential. They can never have that high platform you were talking about and see with a bird's eye view, see what's going down on all the different levels on this planet. They can never open their eyes to that. They are compartmentalized. And see, and these are the tricks. They're subtle tricks, but uniforms are one of these tricks. I remember going to school with the uniform. I sensed that already back then. Back then I was sensing that the uniform was just a crock, like everything else. Yeah, but Jordan, the perspective that you were talking about, that we need, the high perspective, the high consciousness, it's basically we can discern the 7 levels of consciousness by looking at the 7 chakras, basically. The 7 chakras are the stairway to heaven. Now, the bottom chakra is red because that's below infernal, therefore it's hell. The middle chakra is the sun chakra. It's green. Well, that's because it's the Midgard, or the middle garden, which is Earth. Yeah, because Earth and Sun are locked into the one cycle. It's 365 days. We don't have that relationship with any of the other planets in the solar system. Therefore, you can either put the Earth in the heart or the Sun in the heart chakra. But that's the middle, the Midgard. Anything below the Midgarden is hell. And you look at the colours of the chakras, you see they are yellow, orange, and red. Low vibrating, very long wave, very fear-driven. That's where fear is, down below. And up above, you've got the love. So when you look, if you're standing on the green garden in the heart chakra, in the Midgard, which is where we dwell on this planet, and you look up, you'll see a blue sky. And that blue sky corresponds with the blue chakra. And so there we are. That's where the humans are. Humans should be there. We should be standing on the green heart chakra, looking up to the blue sky. Because we are going from the animal human to the human being, or the human hero. And the human hero is in the throat chakra, the blue one, which corresponds with blue Sirius. And then once we go through that blue throat chakra, then we enter the indigo and the violet, which is the colour of heaven. So you see, all the colours match the colours of the conditions, because heaven and hell don't have a postal address, they are conditions. Yes.
That's why I said it's so much symbolism that you need to understand the symbolism, and that's a classic example.
It is, and this is the key to the theology that the priest will not tell you in church. He'll give you some other crock. He'll tell you some other thing that will suit their little business, so they can harvest that particular congregation's energy. But if they were true ministers, as their name suggests, moon stars or pastors from the stars, they would be teaching these very things. And so those levels, as you said before, Jordan, when you knock, it will be opened. It will only be open to people who want to know. There are people who don't want to know. They're down there in the red.
That's exactly right. They don't want to know. That's what the Germans doing Adolf Hitler's time. They will tell you, well, we didn't know what Hitler was doing. We didn't understand. We were just following our government. After all, he was the head of our government, and we have to support our troops. We want to support our boys, and so we were just doing what we're supposed to do as good citizens. And then I look back on it now, and I say, no. Now I understand what was going on. The German people didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to know. All they know is that for the first time they got a job now, they got money, and they're coming back up now in the world. They don't want to know how it happened. They don't want to know what Hitler had to do to make it all work. They don't want to hear it. They just want to know that and besides, all they want to know is that they're being fed and they're being taken care of. So that's the way it works in the world. People who don't know what's going on are the ones who don't want to know what's going on. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, they haven't done any knocking, and therefore the doors haven't been open, and that's why They laugh at people like us because, they just think that we're outrageous. They're towing the party line and the opinions that they've been indoctrinated with their educational system. It's unfortunate, but the thing is, they are good-hearted people that trust the powers that be and don't realise that there are sinister, very sinister entities hiding behind those so-called governments. Now, the governments are in a predicament at the moment because they are acting as both trustees and corporations. So, do they serve the people, or are they self-serving? Because in my books, there are only two types of governments. Governments that serve us, or governments that want us to serve them. There can only be two kinds.
That's true.
Yeah. And it looks like we've got corporate government that wants us to serve them, and we've forgotten that there is a universal republic in this universe which causes all people to be free. Therefore, if we do tolerate a small government, it should be just for administering 2 or 3 various things that need some kind of central, focal point,
course.
And that's it.
Here in the States we have things called condos, and where you don't rent an apartment, you actually buy it, and it's yours. And so, but it's in a large building, so maybe there's 40 or 50 apartments, but they're all very nice, but they're apartments, but you buy your apartment, so it's actually yours. And so now you've got 50 other people who are owners of their apartments in the same building. And so obviously you have to have somebody responsible for the building, to take the trash out, to clean the pool, to make sure whatever bills that has occurred. And so you have to have somebody. So what they do is they form an association, and they appoint someone to be in charge of the building, and everybody agrees to it, that we support. We put in so much money each month, and they are responsible to take care of the lawns and to take care of the business of the building for everyone else. And so it makes sense. Well, that's what you're talking about. I don't have any problem with government taking care of the things that need to be taken care of to keep organized, to keep the human race organized. But that's not what is happening now. It's the people who've been appointed to take care of the building have decided on their own. They own the building now. They don't just take care of the building for the owners of the building. No, they own the building now. And from here on out, everybody works for them. And so that's what the world government is all about today. The government is not there to serve the people who are the sovereigns. No. Governments now own the people. They own the land, they own the people, they own it all. And when you begin to see how they did this and the treachery how they did it and how they put it together and how the stuff really works, that's when it really starts getting interesting. And you cannot let religion out of the equation, because that's the one trick that makes sure that everybody else goes along to get along, is the church. The church and religion, the Jewish religion, tells the Jews that they're the chosen race and that they can rape anybody they want and everything's going to be fine. And the Islamic religion tells them that the whole world belongs to them and that Allah is going to kill anybody who doesn't love him. And all this silly nonsense, and the Christians are the most ignorant of all of them. All you need to see is that religion is the basis for all of this criminality to operate. And so it's a madhouse now of power. Might makes right, and now all the gangs are out on the streets today. We call them governments, and that's what's going on around the earth. It's a war for power and greed, and it's totally out of control. So something is going to happen. As I said, somewhere along the line, we're going to wake up and find out the Earth is in big trouble. And we got bigger problems out there, too, yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is what we try and go into. Hidden technologies, UFO, anti-gravity, what's really going on out there. President Putin's just admitted that basically he's given a folder as a president to say that we're in contact with ETs, we've got this technology, and that you are to keep it secret. But now they've given the USA an ultimatum to either come out and tell the truth, or Russia's going to do it anyway. But guess what? It's all part of the program. But anyway, what I did need to do here, Jordan and Santos, if that's okay, we've got a caller apparently. So if Kate, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to jump. So, we do have someone called in on Skype. I've actually unmuted their mic already. Nuclear Verster, and I have Deprogram that wants to call in as well. Jordan, you know of him. He had a site, minddeprogramming.com, so he wants to jump in tonight as well. So I think we're gonna have a full night tonight, and that's awesome. Anyway, Nuclear Verster, are you there? Hello, your mic is hot. Nuclear Verster from Skype. I guess I might just be tuned in listening. Okay, I'll put that back in hold. We do have one other caller. Area code 40788, first two numbers, 40788. Your mic is hot. Any questions or comments?
Hey, Lo, it's Pulsar, man. How you doing?
Pulsar, how you doing? Oh, my God.
Very good. You, man?
Good.
Yeah, it's so good to be here. Wow, Jordan Maxwell. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm still here, I think.
And Santos. Hey, you there?
G'day, Pulsar. How are you, brother?
Very good. Yeah, I've been listening to the show. Very good. You all ever hear of a guy named Charles Tart?
No.
He's a psychologist. He coined the phrase cultural consensus trance, and that's basically, what the evildoers have done to the world, and keep them in that sheeple mentality, compartmentalized, and that's how they get away with it. And it is pretty sad, but I see this as, whatever is bad now, it's going to be that much better, in the near future. So I don't see it as all bad,
My feeling is that the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming.
Right. Exactly.
God, give us hope, Jordan, please.
Yeah. Hey,
anyway.
guys, I do want to say, let's remember that there are people out there like People's Trust now. Now, I have done a couple of shows on this, and Jordan, you might want to check this out. I think it's People's Trust 1776.org. This group has perfected a superior claim to the 1302 Papal Unum Sanctum, in which the Vatican, a corporation, takes over the entire inhabited globe and claims it for itself: sheep, chattel, cattle, stock, everything, property. This claim is a perfected superior claim. Now, to perfect a claim in law, and I think they did this in UCC too. Kate, you might need to help me here, or did they do it in common law? How did they perfect this claim?
I think they did it through the Uniform Commercial Code. And again, there are multi-levels of things going on. You're speaking of the Heather Jafar group?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone is coming in at this from a different angle, kicking the hell out of the cornerstone of the system. And one of the things that we've been talking a lot about over the last while is specifically, it does not matter what people, don't mind the phone in the background, busy place. Now, it doesn't matter what direction people want to go in as far as what they're doing. I may or may not agree with it. What I do agree with is the intention to take the system down, and that to me is all that matters.
Yep. I'm coming from the same angle, but it's good for us to get this knowledge out, and I just thought I'd throw that in. There is hope, because we've got groups like that. We've also got the Sunky Temple Trust. There's a lot of other trusts. There's a lot of people. Winston Trout's doing some great things too. I'm going to be interviewing him soon. He's the one who is perfecting a common law claim against the Federal Reserve Bank and all the banksters in the world, and he promises us that there will be mass arrests very soon.
Yeah.
he promised that on air with David Wilcock, and people were laughing at David Wilcock and the likes of Ben Fulford for suggesting that there will be mass arrests. But there will be mass arrests. We know that because we want that, and we've got good guys working on it. So whether the People's Trust is the one that is going to save us will all come down to whether the Vatican acknowledges that they've been trumped, because they have been trumped. This is how they perfected the claim. I mean, they accused the Vatican and the powers that were that they are controlling the system by profiting off the gullibility of the people through the trust, the Sestui-KV trust system. They are fluoridating the people and poisoning the people deliberately. They are deliberately dumbing the people down. They are into pedophilia and people trafficking and all of the black market crime. They control it all. And they were exposed in public. This was a public accusation. It was not defended or rebutted in 28 days, and they defaulted them, basically, and that is a perfected claim. It's all over. They have no right anymore on this planet to administer their fictional system. Whether they are going to put down their arms before they are arrested and go to jail is another thing, but remains to be seen. But that's the situation, and we might want to spread the word about People's Trust. There was a lot of work that went into this trust. It might be that we are acknowledged, the powers of the universe acknowledge that we are actually under this trust because it has been perfected. So we are free, really. Something to think about, guys.
No doubt about that.
I'm not sure where that background's coming from, guys, but it's quite loud. I don't know if somebody can mute that. Hello, caller?
Yeah?
Mute all mics.
Hello?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out whose background that was.
It wasn't me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, with a bit of luck, we've actually, we're going to be cracking some, groundbreaking stuff here. And like you say, it's coming from all sorts of different directions. We've got what's the word I'm looking for? The synapse situation as well, where syncrenistic, I can't remember the blooming syntax, where we've got the syntax legal versions of the information coming through as well. And like you said, there's lots of different people hitting the whole system from lots of different angles. So I've got a really good feeling about this, that we're going to get through right the way to the core and the bedrock of the problem. And obviously, when we do that, it's all about being able to communicate what's happened to the people, rather than just having mass mayhem everywhere and loads of this negative stuff going on. So I do believe it's about conscious helping people understand what it all is and raising their conscious awareness to the point whereby, yes, they were asleep, but now we can help them understand what's innate. We can teach them. It's that simple. If we can talk to people and we can communicate with people, we can raise their conscious awareness of the situation. And if we do that, then, I think everybody will, I say everybody loosely, I'm damn sure we can get a positive outcome, let's put it that way.
Well, I'm sure that,
for me, when I think about, our childhood and everything and our parents, they would instill in our minds that, not to take things from strangers, right? Mm-hmm. And then our parents, what do? They go and take things from strangers, go into these big supermarkets every day, buying products from people they have no clue. They've never met in their lives. So it's like they're contradicting our parents that so-called call themselves adults and grown-ups. They're contradicting themselves. They're telling the kids don't take anything from strangers while they're doing the same thing. And plus,
they go to church and take things from strangers.
Yeah, exactly. Same difference. Yeah. So it's the grown-ups need to grow up and stop, depending on the government, and start creating soul groups. Start creating soul groups and little communities, and
Let me ask Santos, have you heard anything about what's going on in the Philippines?
No.
Okay. There seems to be something brewing in the Philippines, but I'll talk with you about that later. It's just that I was wondering, because you're probably a little bit closer to it than I am.
Haven't heard anything, Jordan? No.
Yeah, because that place is crawling with the Catholic Church, but there's also a very big revolutionary movement there too, and so I've just heard some interesting things going on in the Philippines. I thought maybe you had too.
What sort of interesting things?
But anyway, again, I think the problems that we face are cosmic in shape and cosmic in form, and I'm just disheartened by how evil and corrupt America has become. I mean, it's just amazing to me. I never would have thought that I would see this country that I grew up in being taught, and believing all the things I believed about America, only to discover that none of it was true. The whole entire superstructure of Western civilization has been a lie and distorted, and good people throughout the centuries who have tried to educate the masses and tried to help us scientifically. They were thrown into prisons, they were tortured, and so that's the same thing we have today. I mean, I believe that the story in the New Testament, the New Testament story of Jesus, to my mind, is a metaphor. It's a symbolic story. It is not history. It's a symbolic or a metaphor and the bottom line on the metaphor is it's a war between light and darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And light meaning intellectual, spiritual enlightenment, as opposed to profound stupidity, ignorance, and darkness. And so darkness has always been evil. Well, put a D in front of the word evil, becomes devil. And so take an O out of good, and it becomes God. God is good and the devil's evil. No, it's words. It's just a symbolic story. That's why Jesus is referred to as God's Son, the light of the world. Well, of course the Son is the light of the world. What the hell else lights the world that isn't the Son? And He is your risen Savior.
Exactly.
Well, of course the thing rises every morning. And of course it is your Savior, because if the sun don't come up, we're dead in 3 weeks. So it is your Savior. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And He walks with us. Our Son walks with us every day. It's never left.
And
it may come in the Santos. It may come in the clouds. The sun does come in the clouds.
And just as He has left in the clouds, He will come back in the cloud. Well, I'll be damned. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's all there. It's all literary truth.
Yes.
That's what it is. But people have taken it for historical truth, and they've gone astray. It's literary truth. It's beautiful literary truth, rich truth that only the ones that really have gone through that throat chakra, and ascended up into the higher chakras will acknowledge, because each chakra represents a level of consciousness. They are the seven heavens. Yeah. And once you reach that top, remember Manly P. Hall, he said that every scripture to qualify as holy must be embedded with 7 levels of complete interpretation. There must be a biochemical, there must be an astrological, there must be a mystical, a spiritual, there will be a historical, which is at the bottom, of course. For children, you teach, that's the entry level, initiate stuff. You teach them the historical things. So in other words, you make the characters anthropomorphic. So Santa Claus is real for 12 years, and then you knock on your kid's head at 12 years old and you go, donk, 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 donk. Sorry, remember we told you Santa Claus was real? Guess what? It's not. And then you wake your children up. Well, that's what the Jews do. They donk on their little kids' heads at 12, and I think they call it, It's a special name, but at 12 years of age in the Jewish system, they would wake their children up and say, hey, those characters, okay, Moses, Jesus, all of those dudes, it's all the one character. It's light. It's talking about light and darkness. Wakey wakeys, we anthropomorphize them, just like we put training wheels on your bike. Now there's 6 other levels. Wakey times.
They're right.
So,
but
exactly right.
at the same time, if the people, they've been putting fluoride and all these other chemicals in their foods and everything, and their pineal gland becomes shut down. I mean, you got to give some empathy or sympathy to these people because, to open their chakras, that's going to be a lot harder, And,
well, you know what I feel about that, and I understand what you're saying, but I came into the same world everybody else did. But even as a child, I began questioning everything, and I didn't buy any of it. And I always kept in mind through my life that there's a real truth, and you haven't been told it. And so you need to really dig deep to find out the real truth, because every time adults would tell me something, another adult would come by and tell me something totally different. And then every time I would ask another adult, there would be a different view. And so it became apparent that nobody knows for sure nothing. And so it's going to be for me to find it out myself, because nobody I'm asking seems to know anything.
But there are people out there. There are people out there that have some maybe suggestions that what may be going on might be this, and so therefore it's important to listen to all sorts of different opinions and points of view and evaluate those for yourself, not just obviously ignoring everybody else. And so I mean, everybody who has a perspective to bring to the discussion has a particular view. One of the things which you mentioned that brilliantly, what about fluoride, and what about the situation that all the water's fluoridated and medicated and all the stuff that's in it.
Right.
It's a very valid point. Now, in answer, from my point of view, I would answer that and say, well, we allowed it to happen. In other words, we acquiesced to it. So we gave over our free will choice. But
did we allow it to happen because we didn't know any better?
Yes, because we weren't looking. It's our own fault. That's the point. This is where universal law kicks in. Is it the fly's fault that it goes and flies straight into a Venus flytrap? Or is it the flytrap's fault that, they're both part of nature. The point of the matter is one got the better over the other one, therefore it's a natural law that one succeeds and the other one fails. But in the end, everything goes around, everything carries on, and nothing is actually lost, because the fly is then consumed by the fly trap, and the fly trap grows because it's food, and there's an underlying natural / universal law at play here that lots of people haven't spotted, and people like Mark Passio will go into great amounts of detail to explain this to people. We've had Mark on the show, and I've interviewed him on this very subject. There is an element of natural law occurring here. If you understand how it works, why it works, and if we acquiesce to allow people to take our rights, allow people to chip us, allow ourselves to be put into a position where we have to apply for licenses, birth certificates, permission for this, permission for that, then it's our own bloody fault, because we're allowing it. And thus, that's why we need to become conscious of what it is we're allowing to happen, and then draw a line and say, no, enough's enough. And when we do that, that will change the outcome, in my opinion.
Yes. You're knowing. Yep.
It is a point of view. It's valid.
Absolutely.
So anyway, there's like I said, there's so much that we can, so many different avenues that we can go and talk about the corruption and stupidity, and it just seems to be a tsunami of ignorance that's sweeping the whole world, and that's why I get very discouraged, because it's just one of me, and I know there's others out there, but we're such a small percentage in relation to the great masses. And I've said before, doing what I do, I feel like I'm trying to empty the Pacific with a cup, because It's so massive, the ignorance, and it's been going on for so many thousands of years. Well, Isaac Asimov, I was reading an article about him, and he said that there was a cuneiform, I guess Sumerian or Proto-Sumerian cuneiform that said that on the ancient people said that their world was so corrupt that the people leading were all corrupt leaders, the banking was corrupt, their religions were all stupid and corrupt. And I thought that was interesting. I mean, the Sumerians and the Proto-Sumerians were saying that about their civilization some 5,500 to 6,000 years ago. Well, then the more we change, the more we stay the same. It seems like there's been a continual war on the earth between light and darkness, between stupidity and ignorance, and intellectual and spiritual enlightenment, and that's where we are today. So I guess it's been around for a long time, Well,
I think that's been in part because our sister sun, Sirius, has been so far away from our sun. Wouldn't you agree, Santos?
Yeah, of course. Yes, it is. It's where we are in the Yuga cycle and the precessional cycle. But good point there, Jordan, about the war against good and evil. It's the perpetual war of the two brothers. That's how it's been defined in the perennial philosophy. It's the war of the two brothers. We have two natures, fire and water. Water is settled and contented and earthy and organic and does not want to grow and achieve and progress. The fire people, or our fire nature, is ambitious and building cities and never restful, always restless. And we have these two natures, a spiritual and a material. But on the earthly plane, they are considered to be two brothers, because there are clearly two camps. There are two groups. There are the ones going one way, that are continuing to, to advance the interests of capitalism and growth and the economy and government and the military-industrial complex, and they are fervent patriots that just, patriot, I won't use that one. Let me pull that out, because that's a bit,
right.
It's a bit of a bomb, that one. You can take that. You can use that in a positive or a negative way. But what I'm trying to say is these people are really, really engrossed in the war machine, and they believe the fiction. And then there's the others who have awakened and who are going in a totally opposite direction. Now, if you guys will allow me to read a little bit from Manly P. Hall about this. This will give us some perspective, okay? Because it's out there. There's no two ways about it. There's two kinds of people. There's what we call the sleeping, and they just love the yuppie mechanism of capitalism that's out there. And they've set a new standard with stupidity out there. They always set a new standard. Just look at the music industry. You've got Lady Gaga now as the new standard of debauchery and skunkiness and putrid crap. That's rock bottom, man. You ain't going to get any lower than Lady Gaga, right? That's it. There's no lower. Lower than that is like unconsciousness. It totally.
Well, I've listened to some of her music and saw her, and I just look at her as that's how not to be. We all learn from each other how to be and how not to be. So that's what I get from her.
That's not judging her. She's probably a nice person, but she's under a label, and the label demands that you have these names like Gaga. We know what Gaga is in reference to, don't we? Like a little girl who, someone comes along and, big uncle, and wants to have some sexual pleasure. Well, you just listen to uncle, and do what uncle says. That's basically what it is. It's just teaching little girls to be gaga to men and just get walked all over.
Even their names come out to Saturnian vibrations. the evil side of the yeah.
You'd know with your numerology. So
yeah,
exactly. But if you'll allow me, guys, if there's no objections, I'll read some from a brochure of Manly P. Hall called Melchizedek. Yeah, Melchizedek and the Mystery of Fire. Don't you dare! You get off the call.
Hey, Santo, when have we ever said, no, you can't read that? Go ahead.
Yeah, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Manly P. Hall. We've just got to pay some reverence. Melchizedek and the Mystery of Fire.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
And he says there on page 34, he says, there are two kinds of people in the world, those with aspiration and those without. Those without aspiration are the sons of Seth, true children of the earth, who cling to their parent with tenacity, and the key word of their nature is earthiness. There is another race who are the sons of fire, for they are descendants of Samael, the regent of fire. These flame-born sons are ever fired with ambition. These flame-born... Hello? Someone talking?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So there is these flame-born sons are ever fired with ambition and aspiration. They are the builders of cities and raisers of monuments and conquerors of worlds, the pioneers, the workers in metals, true sons of the eternal flame. Fiery and tempestuous are their souls, and earth to them is a burden. Jehovah does not answer their prayers, for they are sons of another star. Aspiration is the key tone of their nature, and again they rise, phoenix-like, from the ashes of failure. Never will they rest. Like the element of which they are a part, they are wanderers upon the face of the earth, with their eyes upon the flaming star from which they came. This fundamental difference is plainly visible in daily life. Some are always contented, others never reach the goal. Some are the sons of waters and keepers of flocks, others are sons of fire and builders of cities. One group is conservative, the other is progressive. One is the king, the other the priest. But within the nature of every living thing, the sons of fire and the sons of water exist together. In the scriptures, the flame-born ones are called the sons of God, and the water-born are referred to as the daughters of men. For the flame-born son, is the divine, is the divinity. Wait a minute, I think I'm going to just have to pop my glasses on there. Because I've got it highlighted. Okay. For the flame-born son is the divinity in man, and the water-born is the humanity in man. These two brothers are deadly enemies, but in the mysteries they are taught to cooperate, one with the other, and are symbolized in Freemasonry as the double-headed eagle of the 33 degrees. So, folks, I'll just continue, actually. There's a little bit more that's very interesting. Cool. According to the ancient wisdom, a time will come when man has two complete spinal systems, both equally developed, and his life will be controlled by two powers working in unity, one with the other. To express this, the ancient alchemists symbolized attainment as a two-headed figure, one head male and the other female, the androgynous Ishwara. And notice Ishwara ends with a Ra. Mm-hmm. The planetary lord of the Brahmins. Bra also has a Ra in it.
Yep.
Has the right half of his body male and the left half female, to symbolize that he is the archetype for the ultimate human race. Man, then, being positive and negative in one, will no longer reproduce himself as at the present time. So there it is. That's the war that's going on. It's the two brothers. It's the brother of fire and the brother of water. They're fighting against each other. It's Cain and Abel. It's Jacob and Esau. And one is content and the other one isn't. He's restless and ambitious. And so neither is good or evil, really. I mean, it's two sides of the one coin. And until we are out of compartmentalization, we will not see that we are all the one. Until we throw away the uniforms and go into unity, we won't see that we are all the one. So that was nice to share, guys. That gives you the perspective, because the perspective is there. Once you've climbed that stairway to heaven out of the lower chakras, and by the way, the lower chakras are, this is the order of the chakras. They're ruled by the 7 regents. The first regent is always the moon, the red chakra. The second one is always Mercury, because you see, they're ordered in their cycle. The moon does a cycle in 28 days. She's the fastest, so she's at the bottom position. Mercury, 88 days, he's number 2.
The moon would be the root chakra?
Yeah.
Really?
Down at the bottom. Absolutely. Yes, look at the Kabbalistic tree carefully. The moon is at the bottom, it's red. I know it has to do. Malkuth is really below that, Malkuth, so the opposite of Ketha. But nonetheless, the moon is the bottom red chakra, and it's first because of 28 days. Mercury 88, Venus 225. Then the middle one, the middle green chakra, which is the Midgard, that of course is 365 days. So it's interchangeable with the sun. You can put the earth in there in its place. And then, of course, the blue chakra is Mars, the indigo is Jupiter, and the violet is Saturn. And that's the order of the heavens and the 7 consciousnesses.
What about Neptune? I rarely hear you say Neptune.
I do deal in Uranus and Neptune, absolutely, but they are in another octave, and but is above the head, but when you look
have you ever looked at the name Neptune? Has the word tune at the end, and I don't know, through Linda Goodman, she always said that was the 7 vibration, which is 7 represents music or sound. I don't know.
Look, Pulsar, I will do a presentation soon in which I will reveal how Uranus and Neptune are actually... Uranus is Jesus Christ the Saviour. That's who Uranus is. That's exactly who it is. And Neptune is the Holy Spirit. And I will prove that. But it's impossible to do today. But when you go back to the 7-coloured rainbow chakra system, the octave that we exist on, this is the channel in the universe in which we exist. When you study the 3 bottom chakras, then you will see the nature of the regents. You study the nature of the regents. The red one is the moon, and it has to do with deception. Someone's got their mic unmuted. Perhaps that might be handy.
Yeah, guys, let me jump in here. For anyone that's on, like, everyone's mic is hot. So anyone that is dialed in, I leave them to talk deliberately. If you could, when you're not talking, just mute out or cover the phone or something, or make sure it's quiet around you, because it gets very, very distracting. I've screened all the calls, by the way, and it seems that people are just listening, so carry on. And while I'm at it, Santo, would you be interested in doing a show on Sunday night for 2 hours regarding this? Because this is really important information.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
Okay.
Course.
I'll book Syncretism for Sunday night so that people can get this information. This is critical. So carry on.
Oh.
Yeah. I hope you guys don't mind. Bear with me, Jordan, because I would prefer to listen to you.
I'm listening to you. I mean, it's fascinating stuff.
I can listen to all you forever, forever and ever.
So when we look at you mentioned churches earlier on. Church is the moon. It's just another word for the moon. Simple as that. And how do we know? Well, you look. Hey, Pulsey, you're just going to have to stop making those comments, man, because there's duplex, and what happens is I'm hearing you whilst I'm talking. I'm not hearing you in between, and it's really just chopping me up.
Okay, that's
sorry,
done.
brother.
Sorry. No, I'm
sorry, man.
Getting used to it. All right.
Yeah, man, no problem. So when you look at Circe in her role in all of the myths, she is always doing her deceptive work. Not because the moon is evil, nothing is. Everything is good and evil, but in her negative capacity, the moon bounces souls back down to Malkuth. She is the first heaven. So it's always the first ring, and Saturn is the last ring, and it's in the crown chakra. So these are the people that go to church. This is red. It's a very slow, vibrating colour. It's fear. Violet upstairs is very high vibrating, and that is love. But down there in churches, you see, Kirke, she turned Ulysses' men into swine, because when humans are considered to be monsters or demons, we often say about ruthless, killing, evil people, we say, oh, he was a monster, he was a demon. Well, when you look at those words, you see that the moon, demon is deity of the moon, and monster is moon star. So, because she only rejects souls and pushes them back to reincarnate on this planet if they do not have the vibration to ascend above her rings. So that is the red chakra, and that is the consciousness of people that are trapped in church. There is where church is. It's all there, down in the... And another name, as Manly P. Hall reveals in his works, another name for that bottom chakra is called Sodom, because it's right there near the anal aperture, between that and the generative system, the bottom chakra. And this is where sodomy happens. Of course, the priests of Baal in the Vatican, they love to rape little boys before the age of 7 so that they can destroy this chakra, you see. That's their purpose, and to keep them down there in their service. Anyone who stays down there in the red chakra in church will be deceived and turned into a swine. Then what happens is churchgoers, when they first wake up, they have a kind of rebellion toward the church, and they awaken, and they immediately are accessed to the second consciousness, which is a psychic baptism of water. This is why they get baptized in water in the first place. The bottom chakra corresponds with earth. The second one corresponds with water. It's a psychic consciousness. And all of a sudden they're in the realm of Mercury. And Mercury is a trickster. He teaches you things of the intellect which are going to be useful in the higher planes, but down in hell they are only useful for control, because it's only intellectual, opinionated stuff that some superficial philosophers dabble in, you know. That's the ones that the Bible condemns when it says the wisdom of the world is foolishness in the eyes of God. You know, you listen to scientists who tell you that fluoride is good for you. And, you know, they tell it to you with a straight face. And they've got their corporate logos behind them, Colgate and all these other killing machines. And they're there telling you, the dentist, fluoride. If we didn't have fluoride, we wouldn't have such good teeth today, you know, and that's that Mercury. So they've been baptized with a baptism of a higher mind, and they think they're a cut above the churchgoers, and they are in a respect, but they are still deceived in the realm of Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually sounds like Maya, doesn't it? But then they get another baptism, and they go into the next chakra, the solar plexus. And that is ruled by Venus. And Venus is lustful and greedy. And, you know, that's her negative aspect, by the way. She has her virtues, of course. But down there below the sun chakra, the Midgard, anything below the earth is so coarse. So Venus is sort of, she's a sub-solar orb, she is. In fact, all the planets below the sun in the body are feminine. the Moon, Mercury, and Venus, and all the boys are above. Not for any particular reason to favour masculinity, but because this is how the science works. When you're in the world of duality, there's that thing and there's the other thing. It doesn't matter whether you label it masculine or feminine, absolutely at all, because everything has masculinity and femininity at the same time as it exists anywhere in the universe of duality. Simple as that. If you want to get out of duality, you've got to go back to the stillness of cause and back to what we call God and immortality and omniscience and all of those things that we really, truly, truly are in our true nature. And we have been deceived from this, and we've been lied to and poisoned and controlled down there under the sun chakra. The three chakras there have to do with power, sex, and what was the third one, guys? Please help me. Power, sex.
I would say materialism, but
well, it is. It's all materialism. Yes.
Jealousy.
The 7 deadly vices. I would just kind of label everything below that. It's all the things that we need to turn into virtues.
Right.
Yeah, so this is why Jesus is called the Saviour, because Jesus is the Son. It's in the middle. And that's why Jesus is always pointing there, going, hello, you idiots. You got to get to here. You're down below. I'm pointing to your salvation. I'm not a man. I'm a literary truth. I'm something that you can grasp if you've got any sense, any intelligence, any consciousness. Please, you are not an animal. Why am I pointing to my heart? And you know, I mean, it's all there. That's it. That's the key. That is the key that Jesus says, woe to you scribes and Pharisees and lawyers, for you throw away the keys of understanding and you prohibit these little sheep, these little children, from getting into the kingdom of heavens, because they stop you at the heart chakra. They don't let you access the heart chakra. They keep you down. They sodomize you in fear and keep you understanding the language of fear, which resonates with the lower chakras, so you stay there.
Yeah, boy, that's why they're stuck now. Yeah, for sure. You know, I have about a 3-hour presentation I do on the story of Jesus and all the things that happened to him in relation to the symbolism between light and darkness. And it's all really very obvious once you see it. An example is that Jesus, we're told, was arrested and they held the trial at night, which was not to be done, but they held a trial for him at night and found him guilty. Well, symbolically, Jesus represents the light of the world, the light and the truth, and he said, I am the truth and the light. Well, there it is. Jesus said, I am the truth and the light. So Jesus represents symbolically the truth and the light, as opposed to what's going on in the rest of the world. And so if he's arrested, well, that's what's happened to the truth and the light. It's been arrested. And if it's being arrested at night, there's a trial being held for him at night, and he's found guilty. Well, the symbolism is that the truth and the light, when someone is trying to explain to you the truth and the light, they're trying to enlighten you, you are in the dark. If you're in the total darkness and you've been in religion and you have no idea in the world what's going on, so you're in the dark. And so when you're listening to someone who's trying to intellectually and spiritually enlighten you with the truth and the light, what are you doing? You're listening to this person trying to decide in your mind if it's real or if it's BS. You know, is this guy real for real, what he's saying, or is it just stupidity and it's just religion? And so what you're doing is you're judging the truth and the light in your head. Well, the side of your head is called the temple lobe. So the truth and the light is being judged in the temple. And that's side of your head. And so when you decide that you have heard enough of this person who's trying to enlighten you, and you can't stand it because he's too brilliant, and you're in the dark, and the light is hurting your eyes, so you don't want to hear the truth and the light anymore, then you have put to death God's Son, the light of the world. You have put to death the light of truth, the truth and the light in your head, in the temple. So once you begin to see the symbolism, as always, as Santos says, always been the same concept. It's the war between the two brothers, the war between light and darkness, up and down, the opposites, always opposites. And that's what we've got going today. Unfortunately, it seems to be out of balance right now. There's so much more darkness than there is light. That's why I've always wondered if light is going to be able to exist at all with the monstrosity of evil governments that want to quiet everybody, so nobody reads anything, nobody understands anything. It's really a struggle to try enlightening your fellow man in such a dark world. It's kind of scary, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Kate, I just remembered that I will have a show on Freedom Reigns on Sunday. It will be my last one, so it'll have to be in a fortnight when I can do the follow-up to this on Sunday. But I'm more than happy.
Yeah,
to...
well, no, that's no problem. Yeah, 'cause I thought you were already done. So what I was thinking of instead, rather than that, maybe if you want to book your Thursday morning, which is our Wednesday night, and we'll just do that's my normal outside the box show, and I'd love to have you on for that.
We got the Italians on Thursday morning.
Oh, that's right. Okay, then Thursday. Pick a day.
Thursday I've got the Spanish.
Okay, Friday, which is your Saturday morning. That's Cosmic Blueprint.
Can do, which is today. Yep, next week. Yep, for sure.
Okay, so we'll do that, and I'll book it in for Syncretism Friday night next week, your Saturday morning.
Yep. And Jordan, what you mentioned there coincides with a thought that I had about how much do we need to get people awakened. What sort of critical mass are we looking at? A lot of people are suggesting you only need 3%. Other people say 10%. Well, the answer lies in that stairway to heaven. As many people that we can get through that blue heart chakra. See, we say we're in the age of Aquarius. Now, opposite Aquarius is Leo. So the autumnal equinox is occurring in Leo now, right now. Don't never just say, oh, it's the age of Aquarius. Please. In India, they will get offended because to them it's the age of Leo. And to people who understand that there is a heliocentric and a geocentric astrological system, the two witnesses, which is called in Revelation, it talks about my two witnesses. These are the ones that are the two witnesses because they witness all of the star activity from a geocentric perspective and from a heliocentric perspective. So if you understand this, you will always include the axis, the Aquarius Leo axis, and then you will also slip in the solstitial axis, which will be Taurus and Scorpio. And so you have the four fixed signs of the zodiac. You know, the cherubim, the man, the eagle, the lion, and the bull. So, but to simplify things, if you just remember that Leo also fits into this equation of Aquarius, and you remember that Saturn and Uranus rule Aquarius, and opposite, the Sun rules Leo. These are all the Christs. These are all archetypes of Jesus, including Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune, believe you me. And all in different capacities and all in different consciousness levels. But what's happening with Leo now is, of course, Leo is the heart, the lion heart, Corleone. So what's happening is the Sun now, the Saviour now, has brought us into the heart chakra as a race. So as a race, we should be now acting as though we have reached that beautiful consciousness level. We should be at a consciousness level which equates with the heart chakra as a race, although individuals are much more advanced, and hopefully we are. Hopefully we passed the throat chakra a long time ago. So this is the whole point of the heavens. As long as we can get, what does the head of the body consider? It's probably about 10% of the whole body. When you look at the head, the proportion of the head would be 10%. That indicates how much probably you would need. You'd have to need 10% of mankind to be up in the cerebellum and in the cerebrum chakras, the two top chakras. You would have to at least have 10% of humanity, probably, and then you'd have wakey-wakeys, because the human family is one organism. It is one conscious organism, and unfortunately it hasn't gone high enough in its chakras for peace and paradise to be on this earth. And so let's hope that now, with the age of Leo and Aquarius axis, this will be a reality.
Yeah, well, we're waiting to see what's going to happen on this, Santos, because it's totally out of our hands. So I'm curious to see how the universe is going to work this out for the human family, if we're going to be saved or not. When I hear Christians talking about being saved, I had someone call me once many years ago doing a radio show and said, what is it that we're supposed to be saved from? Christians always talk about getting saved. And I said, to be saved from their goofy religion. That's what you're supposed to be saved from. So that's what I see as the big need today, is just education. All the problems facing the human race, I think the one biggest problem is pure education. That's the biggest problem we're facing. People are not being told anything of any value, and so therefore they are not able to make any rational judgments on anything. I'm fascinated when I hear all the information about the zodiac and about how the heavens influence our lives. And I understand that destiny is written in the stars. So that's why I think your work and this whole idea of exposing the world to astrotheology is so important. That's why I'm fascinated with the whole subject. And hopefully, I was going to ask you one thing before you go. What are you then doing? If you were doing a radio show, you're saying you're doing the last show? No, just the last Freedom Reigns show, Jordan. I will be continuing with just 2 shows in English, because I'm getting other languages now. I've got Italian and Spanish, and I really want to get astrotheology to these people. They are taking to it. If you knew what was happening in Italy, Kate alluded to it at the start of the show, Jordan, you'd be so excited if you heard what's going on. They are just scrambling to organise to get a bunch of sovereigns over there, and because there is a vast, big conscious group in Italy, and they love astrotheology. They know it's it. They know it's the answer, and syncretism and the law. They are true sovereigns, in the biblical sense of the word. Yeah. And so I'm only going to keep those 2 shows, but I will do panels like this with Kate from time to time, or even regularly. I'm happy to do this every week with this panel, because this is a good panel. This is a panel, Jordan, you have to understand, you've left a legacy here of when you connected sovereignty and UCC, that stuff you were doing decades ago, with astrotheology. You were probably the first one in history to do so. And that was a big connect, because those 2 marry up, and then what that did was open the door for other things to attach themselves to that, and we have all opened our eyes as a consequence, and now we see that all things are interconnected. And this started a beautiful pattern where you started to, merge 2
totally separate things, or what we considered separate at one stage, and you brought them together. So this group here, Tony is doing his free energy stuff and anti-gravity stuff, and he's looked into so many conspiratorial things, and he's gone down so many rabbit holes. And Kate, on the other hand, will have to just it'll take an hour to explain Kate's documents dealing with sovereignty that we have used in court with so much success. And of course, Kate's a Hermetist, understands astrotheology. A group like this, I'll do regularly. And also, I do never say no to anyone who approaches me for an interview. But as for my own shows, I've got to pull them back, and I've had to stop 2 extra ones on Blog Talk because I've got all of this other stuff in Spanish now and Italian. It's very exciting stuff.
Wow.
Well, good on you, Santos, because, people of other languages, they need to know all this, and they're gravitating towards it. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I really am pushing. We had talked with Johnny Guzman and Santo last night with regards to Santo doing a full video presentation in both Italian and Spanish, and there is fundraising to get Santo from Australia to Ecuador. It's a lot easier to do that than ship 7 or 8 people from Ecuador to Australia, and the idea there is to get all the beautiful information that we literally take for granted now, because we get to hear it all the time, into the minds and hearts of Italian speaking and Portuguese and Spanish speaking people. Because you're dealing with, there are hundreds of millions of minds in the consciousness that, just like Santa was saying, that the consciousness is at a point now where they're just eating it up. Truth is apparent now, and we need a diplomat like Santo who can so eloquently put it across to that. We are absolutely blessed, Santo, with the fact that you can go multilingual on this and get an opportunity to partake in it. So, and again, Santo, the platform with me is always wide open. Same with you, Jordan, everybody. We do our absolute best, and we grind it out. I don't think people realize how much effort it takes to get us all together all the time. But we make the effort, and we get the word out, and we know that every day, every show that we do is going up into the Akashic, and it is waking people up. I know that. I see it physically every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Santos, it occurred to me, I'm just thinking out loud, it'd be a real trip if you and I could, if I came to Italy and you and I could do seminars in Italy on all of these subjects of the occult world, on metaphysics, and do it in Italy, the home of the Renaissance, and actually start a whole new renaissance of spiritual and intellectual enlightenment in Italy, because Italy is always dominated.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely for sure. What else do we live for?
That's right.
It's for the light. We are servants of the light and enlightenment, and we despise ignorance and the results of it and the suffering. We've done it. We've participated long enough. We've awakened, and we want our brothers to awaken from the suffering. To see this.
That's right.
To see
That's right.
clearly that there is an answer. Clearly, and the answer lies in the stars, because we are young stars, youngsters.
I like that. Youngsters, young stars. Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I was in Italy, I had a chance to spend a few days roaming around Italy, and I found it to be absolutely captivating and very, very interesting. The Vatican. I took the tour of the Vatican. I actually was able to go in the back way. We went all the way around to the back of the Vatican and went in the back way and got a special tour because they thought that I was somebody important and I was going to do something to promote the Vatican. So they gave me a special tour, and because of my age, they went and got me a wheelchair, and I thought it was a great idea. And so they wheeled me all through where the tourists go. But I went into a lot of rooms and places that nobody else could go in. But the one thing about the Vatican that struck me was at nighttime in the yard, the front yard of the Vatican. At nighttime, at least for me, was extraordinarily powerful presence there at night. It's a very, very almost you could cut it with a knife. The feeling of a dark, profound, evil presence on the earth, some sort of a vortex, if you will, of power there at night. Standing in the courtyard of the Vatican at night, it just feels very, very demonic and depraved. And it was just a remarkable feeling. I would love to come back to Italy. My mother was Italian, and I would like to come back to Italy, and I would love to be able to roam around with you and do seminars. That's just occurred to me, but I thought that sounds like a great idea.
It's already out there, Jordan. It's in the universe's hands now, brother. I've never been to Italy, so I'm heading that way. If they can get me there, I've never ever been.
You've never been there?
Wow. No, I've never been to Europe, and but I did start learning Italian. I was raised on two languages, or a dialect and a language, Calabrian and English, of course, but Italian. I started learning my languages in my teens, and I was a dead set, serious linguist scholar. You know, I mean, I got big dictionaries. I got them from Spain, from France, from Italy. So I really took it seriously, and I never ever really understood. I knew that there would be a reason, and I thought, when I was Jehovah's Witness, being a regular pioneer for years and a ministerial servant, I used to serve here in Melbourne in the Portuguese congregation, Spanish, Italian. I served for 4 years in an Italian congregation. But here we used to go around visiting all the Portuguese. So we get the names out of the back of the phone book, and we would knock on the door of Brazilians, Mozambiqueans, Angolans, Madeira, all Portuguese from all over the world. And so I did the circuit. I used to give public talks in Spanish and all of these languages, and I thought that I was putting my languages to good use. I thought, see, this is how it works. This is how God works. I was a linguist, and I love languages because I had a purpose, and this is the purpose: to go around giving talks as a ministerial servant, you know. But it turns out the universe had a
different plan,
a superior plan, exactly, absolutely, to teach the Hispanics astrotheology. You know, there's no one in Italy that is teaching astrotheology, the likes of which you and I are accustomed to, Jordan. You know, there's no one in Italy teaching. I mean, remember the days when there was Giordano Bruno, Pico della Mirandola, Marsilio Ficino? There was an array of Italians teaching this exquisite science. They're all gone.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the way the Vatican
wants
it, right?
to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think it'd be great if you and I could tour Italy and do all-day seminars on the subject, especially in relation to government and the church. My God, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love exposing the church. That would be a wonderful. Because I've been looking at this stuff all my life. And I'd like to be able to tell the whole world what's really going on here. Yeah. So anyway, maybe that'll happen yet.
Well, it's out there now. I've already got some emails, and I've got a message from a friend down in Geelong who's just said, "Hey, this is what he's listening to the show," and he says, "Santos, I would be down with you and Jordan to go to Italy. Awesome show so far, man." There you go. And a few emails saying that would be such a good idea, just from people listening. So it's out in the universe.
Well, we'll see where it goes.
I'm at the service of light. Wherever light directs me, I will be there, and to expel the darkness. And why shouldn't we be? We are warriors of light, and we are here at the right time for this reason, to see something good come out of all of this mess. You know, the two brothers have to finally realize that there's only really one. There's only really one brother. And the water and the fire can come together in the middle and marry. It's an alchemical marriage. But it takes a lot of balance and arduous perseverance to do this alchemical thing,
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
that's the truth. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, Kate, I'm just thinking about the time. There's 8 minutes left. I was considering discussing whether we do come back next week and do this again, or whether you want to do a fortnightly thing, or whatever suits you. Because this is a good platform. There's no ads. You can have a solid,
2 hours
solid show.
Yeah, that's exactly why I like doing this platform. I have the options of ads or not, and I prefer truth over ads any day of the week. Absolutely, if you and Jordan want to set up, we'll do this panel even once a week. I can talk to you after the show. Jordan, it's a little difficult in that you're on a phone, and I'm kind of without that aspect, but you would definitely, and we can work this out via email and whatnot. So that would definitely be awesome. So you guys can let me know, and we'll set up a show and get this weekly if you want. The call's yours. I'm just a servant, so just let me know.
Yeah, and let's use the platform to be really of useful service to all the listeners. In that, let's make a commitment to bring new stuff to the table, fresh stuff every week, even if it's just one thought. Even if it's just one quote that you've picked up, or one thing that will better mankind. Let's each one of us make a commitment to bring something new that we've never talked about before, or at least to keep it fresh and give people at least something better than just entertainment, listening pleasure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing I do want to focus on, guys, is we know the place that we're in right now is a mess. It's a lot less of a mess than it was 2-3 years ago. But what I am absolutely focused on are solutions and real truth messages, and we'll let the fear-mongerers go, and we'll just keep bringing it to a whole new level. So, and we got 5 minutes left here. So
I'll tell you what.
I'm going to shut up right after this. I just want to thank Paul Giovanni and Critical Mass Radio for giving us this platform every day of the week that we can do this. So big cheers to Critical Mass Radio. Please pop by the website, criticalmass.co.uk, and pass along your gratitude there as well. Because Paul and their team, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So great big hats off to that. And you guys can wind out the show. It's 4.5 minutes left, and if we go over time, no problem. But I just wanted to get that out. So carry on.
Well, all I would say is I just wanted to let everyone know about my email, because as of the moment I don't have a website. So I would just say if you go to jordanmaxwell.com, just understand I don't own it right now, and I'm in the a position where I don't benefit from that website at all. So I would suggest, if you want to go there, just see it, but just understand I don't have anything to do with it. But if you'd like to contact me, my email is Jordan, without an A, Jordn, Maxwell @gmail.com. That's Jordan Maxwell @gmail.com. The Jordan has no A. So if you would like to email me, I'm always happy to. Doesn't mean I'll be able to get back to you, because I get many emails, but I always try to read all of my emails. So I just wanted to get that in if you want to contact me.
Yeah, absolutely, Jordan.
And friends, listeners, please remember, Jordan does not have a website. So if someone is approaching you to tantalize you with Jordan's great products and intellectual property, please do not support that group. Please support
Absolutely.
Jordan. Now, someone has made a PayPal link for you just recently, Jordan. Can you give people that link?
Yes, it's let's see. That's true that they have given me a PayPal account. They're not. I don't know why I didn't have that prepared.
Yeah,
but maybe I could do that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. It's Granada Forum, Granada, Granada Forum, Forum, Granada Forum at hotmail.com. Granada Forum at hotmail.com is the PayPal account for anyone who would like to help me with my expenses on this criminal case and my medical problems that I'm having. So, but thank you for bringing that up, because I totally forgot about that.
And a quick note, guys. I just wanted to let tell the listeners that this is Terry. Terry Santo.
Yes.
Tell the listeners that she wants to start the donation on the site for them to go to Italy. Santo, Jordan, Santo site. So there it is. It's already begun, and let's get this game rolling and get busy out there.
I want to thank Santos, too, for reminding the people. Yes, it's true. A lot of people are getting emails from supposedly my website advertising my products. Well, I don't have any products. They've been stolen from me. It's all been taken from me. So it's just people trying to make money off of me, representing themselves as if it was me. I don't have a website. I don't have any products. So if you're hearing or getting emails that there's new products, just know that these are the people who are trying to make a quick buck off of Jordan Maxwell's name. And so I would suggest you buy nothing. If you want to go to the website and look at my work, what's left, they've taken a lot of it off and put a lot of junk on there because they're in control of my website. I'm not. But it's true, I don't have a website, so that's why I give you my email.
I just had, before we go, we got like 40 seconds here, tagged by Deprogramming. I'm going to be talking to them after the show, and has offered to build a website for you for free. That's what they do. So there you go. So everything gathers. The angels with wings are showing up in mass. So perfect.
Well, thank you. And anyone can contact me, as I said, at Granada Forum, Forum, at hotmail.com. Please contact me.
Yeah, I'd
Beautiful.
like to also offer you, Jordan, if you're amenable, there's a position as a guest author on Syncrenicity.com as well, which is basically the portal site we're setting up to get this information out through.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, we'll talk about that later. And do contact me on any of this, and I'll get back to you. Again,
no
thank
problem.
you for having me on.
Oh, Jordan, my pleasure. And Santo, absolutely. We're off the air, so we're on the recording. No stress, guys. Definitely. Thank you. And by the way, I can actually call you via Gmail, because you can call anywhere in North America for free on Gmail.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I have your landline, and I can actually give you a shout. But what I will do with Santo is we'll get something worked out that's amenable for all of us. To get you guys on the air weekly, because this is a very powerful platform. The comments and the things that are come flying at me right now are amazing. So you just need to know.
You're getting emails, you mean, from the program we just did?
Oh, I'm getting Facebook hits. I'm getting we got a chat room going on. Skype. My Skype has been lit up. I got to tell you, I don't know how I juggle all this stuff.
We're getting bombarded. I'm getting bombarded. People. They're just calling in saying, "Great show, great show, great show." I haven't even checked Facebook. I'm just on Skype.
Aren't you a Gemini, Kate?
Yeah, I'm a Gemini.
I'm wondering if I gave the wrong address for contributions. Did I say at gmail.com?
Yes.
You said your email is gmail.com, and your PayPal you said was hotmail.com.
That's right. Hotmail. Mm-hmm.
You said it right.
Hey Jordan, have you considered getting Skype? It only takes 30 seconds to put on your computer. It is the best thing. You'll never radiate your ear, and it's just so good.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do have it now. Just now, the last few days, I've had someone come over, and we were talking about that. So he said, well, let me put it on your computer, even if you don't ever use it. At least you've got it. So I do have it now. Now all I got to do is know how to use it.
It's very easy, and it doesn't take long to get on it. Once you get used to it, it's free calling around the world, and that's how we all stay in touch. We have groups that we have with everyone in it, so that everyone stays in touch in real time.
That's good. Yeah, well, I've got it now, so that's the main thing.
Awesome. And what's your address, Jordan? Give it to us, please.
You know what? I don't know. I'll have to get it. I got the folder it's in, and then I'll email that to you.
Beautiful. Now, what we'll do is what happens is we send you an invitation. You just click and say yes, accept from Santos Bonacci,
correct.
And then you'll always see my green light on when I'm around, and you can all you do is click on that green light and you can talk to me or anyone, and that's how easy it is. And that's how we get on the shows, through Skype. Everyone is doing shows through Skype now. 90% of all the shows are done through Skype.
Incredible. Sensational. Well, that's good. Okay.
All right.
I don't know if I'll be able to do the Sunday programs on a continual basis. But email me the day before. And if I can do it, I'll get right back to you.
Well,
that's no problem.
And it doesn't have to be Sundays. Again, this is I want to get together with Santo and find out what works best for him. And then everything is workable. So we don't play with rules, we make them.
Yeah, of course, I like that. And so we'll find out what you guys want to do and when you're doing it, and email me the day before, and if I can do it, I will.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right, awesome. Let's go like that. It's the best way. That's the freer way.
Yeah.
Okay, and once Jordan, once you're on Skype, I can hook you up with the individual that wants to do the website for you. We can get you hooked into a whole lot of different people that can help you out, and
right. Yeah.
And let's get the work, because that's what we do. This is my job as a servant. Hey, go figure, the Gemini messenger, right? But anyway.
Well, whatever.
It's all good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go, and we'll be talking soon.
Okay. Take care, guys.
It's been a pleasure to commune with you all. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Take care, Jordan. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Jordan. Good night.
Okay, well, once again, another stellar show here on Critical Mass Radio, Blog Talk Radio, on Cosmic Blueprints with host Tony Z and co-host myself, Kate of Gaia, with the most wonderful guests, Santo Bonacci, Jordan Maxwell, and Pulsar. Thank you so much for chiming in. Greatly appreciate everything that everyone has done. So thank you. Final words, Tony?
Yeah, awesome show. There's just not enough time. Every time we do a show, there's so many questions that go by so quick. And it's like, but. I'd love to be able to get in there and start, dealing with some of those questions, but it's having the time, and this stuff goes so quick. But
we had 20.
I would, again, just say to everybody, synchronicity.com, this is what we're concentrating on. Let's get this portal up and running, and let's really make it work, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. The stuff that we've got going on here is nobody's business. It's incredible.
Yeah, no words to describe it. So again, thanks to all the listeners, and if you've downloaded the episode, you got right to the end here, and much love to all of you. Thank you for being awake and seeing lives, whether you have, my love, and we'll get everyone on you, Tony, myself, and it's going to be a very lit up show that I know. And of course, on Sunday, they have Darlene on to tell a story. And
okay, for some reason, I've got to tell you this because it sounds absolutely appalling. This
go ahead, Tony.